Well, South Africa and the continent at large have a high rate of abandoned and abused children, some in child-headed home institutions or situations rather. But through such challenging situations, help is at hand in the form of NGOs like Jewels of Hope. The organisation strives to provide a solution using some forward thinking. They empower needy youth with entrepreneurial skills like designing marketable jewellery, sourcing and buying raw materials, preparing bead kits and providing training in the production process. Well, to hear about the work being done by Jewels of Hope, established back in 2004, I'm now joined by community facilitator Janine Ward. A very good morning to you, Janine, and welcome to ANN7.
Good morning, thank you.
Firstly, tell us, what was the idea behind Jewels of Hope?
Jewels of Hope was started by a lady who wanted to respond to the plight of vulnerable children, and she just gathered a group of 11 children around her dining room table and started teaching them how to make jewelry. And she had so many people responding to her from the community saying could they also join, that before she knew it we had 250 children involved in this organization in South Africa, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, and even one group in Malawi. And then we realized that we were growing a little bit too quickly. So now in the last 5 years, we have consolidated our model. We now have 35 children working in South Africa and in Lesotho.
Now, what is the main aim of Jewels of Hope?
The aim is to transform vulnerable children into champion citizens. And for us, although the jewelry is very pretty, I've got some samples here if you want to have a look. For us, transforming the children into feeling confident and realizing that they belong to a community and feeling a sense of value and worth is very important, because an orphan child is often the one who's that extra mouth that needs to be fed in a community. Maybe they're living with a grandmother who's got already 7 or 8 children to look after. And for that child to be able to come home with the small income they make from the jewelry, with a bag of mielie meal and say, Granny, here you are, I'm contributing. It's huge. It's a huge thing for them. It's much more than just making a necklace.
Of course. Now, since its inception in 2004, what are some of the success stories that you can share with us over these past 10 years?
One of the young lads that we had in Lesotho, he was with the group from about 12, 13, and he worked in the group for 4 or 5 years, and then became one of the trainers, because we have a group of 5 children who meet with an adult trainer in the community. And he then became one of the adult trainers, and who better to have as a role model than somebody who has been an orphan child himself. He then mentioned to somebody that he was quite interested in becoming a teacher, and they were able to organize a bursary for him, and he attended a training college in Lesotho, and he's now a teacher at the American school.
That's absolutely outstanding. Now, what are some of the challenges? Of course, you're dealing with some of these children. They have been abused, whether it's mentally or sexually. There are some side effects, repercussions. What type of things do you deal with on a daily basis with some of the children that you work with?
Many of our girls, as you say, they have been sexually abused, and that is a huge issue for them, because it immediately affects their own sense of value and who they are as a girl. And so for us, we don't only teach them how to make jewelry. They meet once a week, have a meal together in that family setting, the 5 children plus the trainer, but they also follow a mentorship program. So we take them through different courses where they can learn about who am I, and why am I on this earth, and why have I had such a rough start to life.
Yeah.
And they're able to then build themselves up and feel that sense of value. So for many of them, it is a huge opportunity for them to really become those valuable citizens.
Now, take us through the process of actually making the jewellery. How is it done? What sort of team do you have together in creating this whole process?
Okay, in our head office here in Johannesburg, we have a small team of largely volunteers. One of the ladies, Heidi, does the designing, and she tries to make really beautiful, I don't know if you can see them there.
Yeah.
Just this is a small example of the kind of things. We've got plenty different designs in the office, but Heidi will design certain items and then send them to the partners, and they will select which ones they feel they can sell to their market.
Okay.
And then they will place an order with us for the bead kits. So then we run around to all the bead shops, buy all the beads, pack them into a bead kit, and then 3 times per year we meet with our partners, teach them how to make the different designs, as well as teaching them how to do the mentorship material.
Okay.
And then they go ahead and then carry on working with the children over the next term.
Now, what sort of support have you established over the years, or have had join your organisation?
It's amazing how little support we've managed to survive on. We've been going for 10 years. We have no official funder. We have no formal support. We've just, our income from the head office comes from selling the bead kits and from charging our partners a little bit for the training. But because they are community-based partners, we don't feel we can charge high rates, which is why we're basically volunteers at the head office.
So you've mentioned the lack of support. What type of support structure do you need, or do you think would be sufficient to be able to carry out the daily activities to support the NGO?
What we're looking for is partners in the corporate sector, especially because our biggest challenge is in marketing the material. So we need, as long as we can sell the jewellery made by the children, it then is enough income for the partners to pay for next term's beads and meals and income for the children. So we need to move the jewellery, and that is our biggest issue. We don't have a shop in Sandton. We have now got a shop online on our website, but we basically depend on individuals and volunteers to take a few of our items and sell them to their friends or in the workplace or so on. So we're looking for, if we could get corporates to make an order, say for Women's Day or for Secretary's Day, something like that, that would be ideal.
And now, where do you source, if I can term it like that, you know, the children that you work from? Where do you find them? Are there specific foundations that you work with, that you take children and bring them and teach them, you know, how to make the jewellery? And yeah, just take us through that process.
Okay, we partner with community-based organisations. So usually they are an organisation, maybe a church-based or a community-based organisation that is already working with children in the area. So they are the ones who know what's happening on the ground. They know which are the most vulnerable families, and they will be the ones who will identify the children. We don't go out, from head office. We don't go and look for kids. We rely on our partners, who are the ones on the ground in the community. They will identify an adult trainer who can come in as that kind of parent figure for the children.
Of course, thank you very much for joining us in studio. Community facilitator from Jewels of Hope, which was established in 2004. I was joined in studio by Janine Ward, who's just giving us a bit of a background as to what they do and how they are actively involved. Well, as we move on, President Jacob Zuma is saddened to announce the untimely death of the Minister of Public Service and Administration, Mr. Collins Shabane, in a car crash in the early hours of this morning, 15th of March 2015. Of course, this is just breaking news that has just come in. We are deeply, and I quote, shocked and saddened by this untimely death of an outstanding